You notice how almost nobody has been talking, all these people who claim that they care about the intersection of sports and politics and culture, Colin Kaepernicks of the world, all of the woke sports media members. You notice how none of them are even mentioning the fact that UPenn has a male swimmer who has now transgendered himself and become a woman and is threatening to set all-time records in women's college swimming. None of them are talking about it. Why? Why has the entire sports media, who always says, hey, we want people to speak out, we want people to be honest, why have all of them virtually shut their mouths simultaneously? It's because they're afraid of what might happen to them. You see what happened with J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author. I read the Harry Potter books, really liked them. Most people out there are unwilling to even get engaged in this dispute. But if you look at what Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling wrote, she wrote in response to now in the UK, in the United Kingdom, if you are a man who is accused of sexually assaulting a woman, you are allowed to define yourself as a woman and say that a woman is trying to rape another woman, even if that woman has a penis. This is what J.K. Rowling tweeted. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. The penised individual who raped you is a woman. We are being told things that are fundamentally untrue and expected to believe them for fear of acknowledging what might otherwise be considered to be an inappropriate or unacceptable truth. This is what's going on with Penn. This is what's going on with the women's swimmers there. You know, two of them spoke out to Outkick, but almost no one in sports media is willing to actually cover this story because they are afraid that they are going to end up a target. And that if they are a target, they're going to be called transphobic. Let me tell you something. It's not transphobic to believe that men and women should compete in different elements of sports. That is the entire foundation of sports. In fact, that's the entire foundation of Title IX. That's the entire foundation of the Olympic Games. For over 100 years, we have been operating under the assumption that sports should not be unisex competitions because if they were, women would never win. Virtually every sport, women would not only not win, they wouldn't even be able to play. And so Title IX, which I agree with, posits the idea that men and women should be able to compete on an equal playing field, that women's scholarships should be equal to men. Well, why is no one speaking out about the fact that women's sports now could be taken over by transgender male athletes? That all-time successful female records are going to be erased by men who decide to identify as women. This is a direct assault upon the idea of women's sports. Almost no one is discussing it. In fact, I'm proud of Outkick and I'm proud of our editorial team because we are willing to talk about inconvenient truths when so many people run and hide when this topic arises. The idea that a man, for bigger, stronger, faster, should be able to consider himself a woman and then begin to crush women athletes such that their records are written out of the record books and replaced by biological men is a fundamental antithesis of what sports and competition should represent. We already create different competition levels in sports based on the size of a school, based on whether or not they give scholarships, based on the age of players. We understand that biological differences make a tremendous difference. If I decided to identify as an 11-year-old, I would be an amazing basketball player right now. I know because I coach 11-year-old basketball and I would wreck those kids. But guess what? I don't just get to randomly decide what age I am because I am a fully grown 42-year-old man. If you want to change your gender, I'm all in favor of it. Whatever makes you happier in life, if you are an adult, I don't have any problem with it, okay? But Changing your gender and then competing against women should not be allowed. All of these states that are passing laws, I agree with. Your gender at birth is the gender that you should compete with for the rest of your life. The idea that we are going to allow transgender men who have been born biologically men and have spent their entire lives benefiting from testosterone to suddenly decide to transition to women is fundamentally wrong. And I give credit to J.K. Rowling for pointing out these issues. I'm a feminist in that I believe everyone should be treated the same, male or female, gay or straight, you should be treated the same, okay? That is what I believe. All individuals should be treated equally. That is not what's occurring when transgender male athletes who become women are allowed to compete, and it's significant. You hardly hear anybody defending this. There is a conspiracy of silence, though, where most people won't even mention it. That is wrong. We have to fix it. Thank God to Outkick for actually being willing to stand up on this issue going forward.